Welcome back, family. We're here at the end of 2024, here on December 30th, to run through the final of this year, cover price top 20. So, yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a little bit hectic lately, a little bit crazy with the holidays, with some um, illness that I've been fighting for the last couple of weeks. I'm feeling much better now. A little preoccupied. I'm going to try to do the best I can. Um, Long short of it is one of my coworkers and friends um is no longer with us. Had on Friday left this plane of existence. So not going to get into any kind of details or anything, but I know his family is going through it right now. So without giving any names or anything, if you could just generically say some prayers to help comfort his family, be greatly appreciated. Anyway, though, let's get back into it here. We got 25 Perez has already checked in. How's it going there? And we got Robert Monroe. Good evening, Rich and the Coconut family. Happy almost New Year. That's right, tomorrow. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I greatly appreciate that. It was kind of it was a surprise. It wasn't expected. Anyway, though, we didn't do a list last week. And Ryan Raleigh also checking in. So it's well, thank you. I pray for the comfort of his family more than anything else. But yeah, last week was Christmas week. We didn't get a cover price. We did not get a new comic book day. Matter of fact, I did pick up my new comic books for last week, which are right here. And I may record a show tomorrow and air it in advance for Wednesday's show. To my knowledge, the store is supposed to be open and they are expecting a delivery. So we should be getting new comic book day on Wednesday. And this will be the giveaway from last week, and the giveaway from this week will be the last two of this year for all 5 books, the Christmas Fiesta. But before anything else, let's just really jump into this list. And I see some really. It's Jeff. Really? When the hell did that happen? And why? But let's get into this list because a lot of the books that were on last week's didn't get to cover, and I kind of just still trying to figure some of these out. Coming in number 20, we have the Superwoman Special. Make sure that I got my volume up here. You guys can hear me and everything, hopefully. I didn't turn this on mute. Superwoman Special, issue number 1 from December 11th. And this is the Mark Spears 1 in 25. Now, it's an interesting cover, no doubt. It looks like Lobo there on the cover. And I wonder if this is a combination of the Superman trailer and Mark Spears, with Mark Spears, his monsters books. If it's everything Mark Spears related, it's driven this up. I've got better Lobo covers. Anything that's related to the Superman trailer will die out. And buying something just because it has somebody's name attached to it is not the greatest of indicators that it's going to hold value. Now, let's take a look here. We've got the regular issues dropping a little bit in price. The Dave Wilkins variant is up to $6. The foil is at $6. None of the other copies are doing much of anything. I see the Raw sold for $105 is the highest value on the 15th, but the highest sale now is $73. And but then again, somebody paid for a 9.8, $70. So would you rather have a Raw or a 9.8? I don't know. You're looking at $70, which is still almost 3 times value. Now, JP's Budget Collecting has pointed out that anytime it hits 2.5 times or higher, it usually keeps value. I don't see this being the case. I think that the only reason it hit this value in the first place is the triple storm of the Superman trailer, Mark Spears' name attached to it, and Lobo on the cover. None of which I think is going to overcome the fact that if it's not a good story, people aren't going to want it. So I think this is going to dive back. I don't think it's even going to make it on the list next week. And I'm not going hunting for it, and I really don't recommend anybody else does. I think that in 6 months, this is going to be a $20 book. So we have our first candidate for bust of the week. Next up on the list, we have Spawn, number one. If not a weekly favorite, at least an every other week favorite. Everybody has to have a Spawn number one because Lord knows there are enough copies. 9.9 sold in November for $3,099, a little bit less than the $10,000 it sold for in 2021. But the 9.8 has gone up a little bit more, 143. And I think, honestly, this used to be a constant 110, 100 to 110, maybe even $120 book. I think the biggest reason why this is 143 right now is not because of anything to do with an increased value of the book. I think it's just an adjustment for inflation. You know, we're paying more for milk and meat and bread and cheese and vacuum cleaners and cars and everything else. And as a result, your everyday $120 book is showing an increase in just because of inflation. And 143, I think, is your newest representative of that. So you might get lucky and find a deal for, say, 125 with something. Just bear in mind, if you're looking for something online at eBay, especially, and you see something go for 125, make sure you double check that shipping cost. I recently saw it looked like a really nice drone, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a really good price. I think I'm going to get that. It's only for $65." And then I looked down and it said plus $499 for shipping. I'm glad I didn't click on that. So just make sure that, if you find a book for 125 with $25 shipping, that's $150. If you find another one's 140 with free shipping, that's $140. Just add the two together, make sure that what's coming out of your pocket is what you actually want to pay. That being said, 140, it's always going to be in this price range. It'll go up with inflation only. You're not going to send your kids to college for it, but it's kind of like one of those books that everybody wants to get a copy of so they can join the Spawn Club. I got one just for that reason myself. Next up on the list, I haven't seen this cover before. It is a Absolute Batman number 2. This is the second print, 1 in 25 Batmobile wraparound, and it is a cool looking cover. I mean, it's your ultimate dump truck, I guess. Why not? I mean, he uses an axe, so it's an okay cover in my opinion. It's a 1 in 25, and it's selling for 25. So, yeah. Hi, Kenneth. How's it going? Happy holidays to you, sir. If it's only selling at ratio, that means it's bound to come back down. It's a number 2 second print, 1 in 25. I think everybody was buying these things. Stores probably have multiple copies of this. $15 in 6 months from now, maybe. It's got nowhere to go. Next up on the list, I haven't seen this book in a while on the list. It's kind of funny to see it. So War of the Realms, New Agents of Atlas, issue number 1. This is from 2019. You get the first appearance of Luna Snow, Wave, Crescent, and Io. First U.S. appearance of Arrow, Swordmaster, cameo on the cover only. I don't even remember what made this hot maybe 2 years ago. I think it was just Luna Snow. What we got here? Wish everybody here Happy New Year, their family, good friends, and loved ones. Absolutely best. And everybody, please be safe. This book popped up once a couple of years ago for some reason and immediately petered back out. I think the same kind of news is going to do that now. And yeah, 9.8 in 2021 was selling for $350. Now it's selling for $66. Yeah, if it got hot and went up to 66, what's it going to go back down to? 45? Yeah, I'll just avoid those books. Hey, Katie, how you doing? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I would definitely wouldn't spend $20 on the raw. Whatever is craziness is brought this back up onto the list. I don't see it's going to stay here long. People have been burned by this book before, and I think it's going to be very people are going to be very trepidatious about investing into it, as I would be as well. Thankfully, I did not buy this the last time, and I have no intention of going after it this time either. Next up on the list, we have Dust to Dust. This is from Image Comics. This is the 1 in 20 variant. Cool cover, and I actually In case you missed it last week, the Dust to Dust, that is one of the books that I do have. It's the cover A for a giveaway out of last week's books. So I didn't get a chance to read it yet, but we're going to be taking a look at that. Um, I didn't get a chance to read it yet, so I don't know. Now it's a 1 in 20, and it's selling for 25, 14 for a near mint. Oh, sorry, for a very fine. So no pre-sales of 9.8s. It's not breaking those thresholds to make it look like it's going to go up in value. So I think it's another one that's just it's on the list because of sales, but not because it's shooting up in value, and I don't expect it to. Next up, we have the Absolute Batman. This book has been here for a little while. First appearance. Now they're saying the first appearance of the Party Animals. I don't remember seeing that before, but okay. I've got a copy of this off at CGC. Let's see if I get lucky with that. We have 9.8s. It say it's selling for 88, but I've seen them on eBay like today for much more than that. Well, no, they were signature series. I don't know the raws. Just the plain 9.8s. So 88 was what one sold for yesterday, and FMV is 99. We do have 9.9s selling for 600. That usually will kill the value of a 9.8 once you have several 9.9s. But the raws are still $35, $36. I do not see how the raws are going to be able to sustain $35 to $36 when there are second prints, when there are variants that you can read for less money, and when the 9.8s are only going for $88. So I think that the 88 is going to come down to about 75 in the long run for the 9.8, but I'm really thinking that those raws are going to drop to closer to 20. So if you happen to have raws and you're looking to flip them, you're probably at your high watermark right about now. You might want to start looking at doing that. If you haven't already slightly missed the window already. Since I bought mine at CovrPrice, I sent it off for CGC and see if I get lucky. Who knows? Even if it drops to 75, it's still a lot less than I paid for it, so I'm okay. Okay, next on the list, we've got Hulk #1 from 2008, first appearance of Red Hulk, because we've got the New World Order, and we know that we're going to have Harrison Ford Red Hulk. Now, this is the Ed McGuinness. If I'm not mistaken, he appears here on the cover, but he doesn't appear inside the issue. I think he doesn't appear inside the storyline until like issue 3 or 4. It's been a while. There is also ones with a question mark on it, which you have the Atomic Comics, which is limited to 5,000, and which is also very similar to the Ed McGuinness 1 in 50 variant. Trying to remember. Okay, you can see if you look at the 1 in 50, it does not. Well, this is the easiest way. I'll pull up the Atomic Comics. It has this symbol here. I'm just trying to circle it. You should be able to see it on the screen. The heroes insignia between Marvel Variant Edition and Low McGuinness, Vines, and Keith. That is, again, the Atomic Comics 1 in, limited to 5,000. That one actually goes for pretty decent money. A 9.8 is $335, where that was higher. And raws are most recent raws are near mint going for 79. Now, if you're looking at the 1 in 50, it's very similar to the same cover. Come on, there we go. But it doesn't have that little hero logo there. Price on that is $228, much less. And it hasn't sold since 10/30, and near mint raws are going for $125. So the 1 in 50 seems to sell for more than the limited to 5,000. Well, thank you so much, sir. How are you? And happy early New Year to you too, kind sir. Anyway, I don't think that any of these right now is a great book that shouldn't have went backwards on that. Okay, is a great book to invest in because it's right before this movie comes out, and I'll be honest, I'm not really thinking this movie is going to do very well. It's gone through. I mean, I've had the conversations already with Robert Monroe. They've had reshoots, little rewrites. I'm looking forward to Thunderbolts. I think that's going to be fun. But the New World Order, I am really worried about that not doing well. Now, 9.8 selling for 350, $54 over its FMV. It's all because of the hype for this movie. This is what happens every time trailers drop and movies are on. The books take a shoot up 2-3 weeks after the movie hits the movie theater. Everybody sells them. Okay, that's people are afraid of missing out. Honestly, guys, don't ever be afraid to miss out. It's much better to miss out on a comic book, have the money still in your hand, and then just go buy a different comic book than buy something, overpay for it, and then have regret. There are millions of comic books out there. If you have $300 in your hand and say, shoot, I didn't buy that. Well, you know what? I could still go buy myself a really nice Golden Age book for $350. There'll always be something for you to spend money on. So this is definitely a book that you want to try to avoid, especially at this time. I don't see this book holding value more than 3 weeks after the movie's out. And I hate to be a negative person, but I don't think that Harrison Ford is going to be in the MCU for the next 20 years, just given his age. So I think that they're writing this character with the intention of not having this character in the MCU for a long period of time. I mean, it's a very negative way of looking at it, but it's blunt honesty on that. I'm sorry. Next up, we got the DC All-in-One special. This came out in October. This was actually the first appearance of the Absolute Universe Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. A lot of people just did not buy this book. And honestly, it's never gone anywhere really with price. 9.8 selling just sold for 91, and near mint just sold yesterday for $5, which is basically cover price. I see a near mint plus sold on the 14th for $14. But again, the most recent book being $12.29 for $5. It's a cover price book, and this is on here solely for volume of sales, not for investability. Do you want to pick up a copy and you want to you want to read it? By all means, go ahead and grab it. Pay a cover price for it. It's not going to hurt you, but it's not a book that you're going to put on the side and say, "Oh wow, 2 years from now, this book is worth $500." It's not going to happen. 12, 11. I got two more and then the break. All right. Daredevil 183. It isn't a great cover, and this book hits the list every time we've got a new season of Daredevil or we get a new season of Punisher. And what's right around the corner? A new season of Daredevil with Punisher. So it's just as soon as you see the trailers and you start to remember, oh yeah, Daredevil and Punisher, this book immediately is like, oh shit, I meant to buy that book when it went down in price. And you forgot about it, just like everybody else, the book went down. Now everybody's looking for it again. The book has gone back up. So 9.8 sold on the 29th yesterday for $195, which is less than half of what it sold for a year and a half ago, May 4th, 2023 for $400. Near mint $36 to $40 for the raws. Right about FMV on this book. This was still Miller at this time, if I'm not mistaken. 183. Should be able to tell by looking at it. It looks like Miller's art. I just don't see a signature anywhere. I have two in my giveaway box. Dude, you probably got two of everything that everybody wants in your giveaway box. In case anybody that doesn't know, and I try to make sure that I stress on my channel all the time, Rob has the absolute best giveaway box. And the one thing that really stinks more than anything else is his show always seems to be when I have to go to work. But for all you normal people that don't have to work on a Saturday afternoon, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time every Saturday, he does Only Slabs, which he invites different guests from the comic book industry to pop on and show roughly 20 books from their collection, describe why, what got them into collecting, what brought them into those books, answer questions. It's a great time between that particular person, Rob and Chris, the comic vet, and they have multiple winners picked every Saturday for their giveaway box, which is, I think, the best part of the giveaway box is watching Chris freak out when he sees what Rob is giving away. uh, so see if I can make sure I get this, because I know I've got it already typed. There we go. Boom. Make sure you check out Rob's Fat Stacks of Comics and support comics curing cancer. No, it's quite all right. I'm just saying, I talk about your show every single week. Uh, one of my greatest joys is when I do catch the replay and I see one of my channel guys win your books. We're slowly going to get them into our side of the field. All right. Anyway, let's get back into this. This is a great book. Everybody wants to have it when Daredevil is about to come out. And what happened as a result? It's about to come out. Now the book is shooting back up again. So what you got to do is get yourself that little pad of paper. Let's look for these books in a few months instead. Wait till after Daredevil comes out, and the book will not be, at least if nothing else, will not be in as high demand as it currently is, and you'll be able to negotiate a better price. Hey, you know what? I've kind of slowed down on getting comic books, and it's starting to irk me because I got one more. I want to be on Rob's show one more time to make it to be a guest 5 times. But I'm like, I need 20 books. I got to go out and buy some stuff. Just it is so much fun though. It really is. So yeah, don't hold off on buying Daredevil 183 at this time. It's going to drop down in price after the show airs. Which, by the way, the trailer does look really good. All right. Next up, we've got Kidpool / Spider-Boy. So 1 in 25, Paco Medina. It says introduction of the MCU version of Kidpool. And if you saw Daredevil and Wolverine, then you know Kidpool was the one with the really, really bad mouth at the end. Apparently, they're bringing that character into the comic canon. He'll be in comic canon as long as he sells comics. Otherwise, he won't be. Oops, sorry, wrong. Now the funny thing is, this is a 1 in 25, and it's a good looking cover. But you look at it, it's like, okay, so is it hot because it's got Kidpool on the cover? Well, I mean, the cover A also has Kidpool on the cover, and this one really, actually, I think this is a better looking cover, in my opinion. This book is going for 7. Now, it just came out last week. That's in Umberto Ramos. So if you're wondering what the demand is for the incentives, always look at the basic books, the cover A's, the cover B's. If those books are shooting up, then your incentives will follow suit. If nobody's going for the cover A's just to even have the ability to read it, then nobody's going to care about the incentive ones either, unless there's something specific. And on this one, there isn't. So I don't think it's really worth much of anything. I see near mint selling for 16. It's just barely half of ratio. So there's no real demand on this book. I think stores probably had way too many of these as it is. I think 16 is even overpriced for it. All right, so we are at, if I'm not mistaken, yes, we are at the halfway point. So I'm going to just quickly say, take a, 10 seconds, 20 seconds to say, 25 seconds to say thank you to all the people that support this channel. And I didn't get a chance to redo this, but now I know I have to add Rob's Fat Stacks of Comics to the YouTube members as well. I got to redo the whole thing and maybe come up with a new screen, see what I'm doing on New Year's Day. But this is not the end of the show, so just stick around, and we're going to be hitting the top 10 right after I say thank you. All right, let's jump into the top 10 now. We've got Edge of Spider-Verse, issue number 5 from 2014. This is the first appearance of Spider, SP/DR, however you want to say Spider, and Penny Parker, which Penny Parker was the one in the robot, if I'm not mistaken, from the first of the Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse movies. Are we ever getting that third movie? Uh, I think I thought they were delayed for a couple of months because of the Hollywood strike. And now we're already almost a year beyond when it was supposed to come out. I don't even know what's going on with it anymore. I mean, Sony, it's your only actual um, Spider is the bot. Okay, thank you. It's the Spider Verse is like the only moneymaker besides it's recently the only moneymaker that Sony has been able to put out. They should be getting that damn thing out already. All right, so what do we got here? This is from 2014, issue number 5, cover A, going for $40 to $45 for near mints and $160 for a 9.8. Highest sale value in 2021 was $305. So again, we're at about half of where we were during the high points. I don't know what's actually driving this right now. If we got any more news about the third movie, if I couldn't tell you. I haven't seen anything on the internet. I try to stay in touch with those storylines and the news stories, but I haven't seen anything like Everything Always and Screen Crush. I haven't seen any information. So if anybody else has an update as to why this is specifically on this list, I'd love to know. If it's just from sales, again, what sparked it? I couldn't tell you. The Gridland 1 in 25, just a little bit above 87, it looks like, for a near mint raw as opposed to 65. No. Yeah, it does say 65. Oh, that's the second print. Sorry. So about double the price for a 1 in 25. Even if we've got some kind of news, I think after the movie is over with, this book doesn't hold. I don't know. 160 for a 9.8. Edge of Spider-Verse 2014. Paper quality was a little bit more suspect back in 2014. They were just pumping crap out. I couldn't tell you. I really don't know if this is worth looking into. My best bet would be to try to find yourself a nice raw, near mint raw for 40, 45 if you want to get a copy, and see if you can talk them down in the price a little bit. If they're, you may be able to even mention about the fact that who knows when that movie's actually going to come out. It's going to be a little bit more difficult now that it's hit the hot list, but keep an eye out for this cover. Look for it in a raw. I wouldn't be spending 160 on a 9.8 for it. Although I kind of like the cover. There's something about it. I'd stay away from it. Okay, next up we have 7 Soldiers, Frankenstein. This is from 2006, issue number 3. Now, know that they're... What's the DC show that's out right now? I don't have all these channels to watch these things. Creature Commandos. This is the first appearance of The Bride, a modernized version of The Bride of Frankenstein. I don't know if this is taking off because of like Creature Commandos and the shows that are coming out in the DC universe, or because of Bridezilla from Mark Spears Monsters. I'm just wondering if everything, I mean, we had a different Mark Spears book earlier in the list. Is it having that much of a trickle down effect to all the other books? The highest sale was just on the 28th. A 9.8 sold for $200. But near mints is still near mints are going for 40. Again, I don't trust those near mint pluses. I've seen people with books that they list on as a absolute gem mint, and you look at it and like the spine is halfway split. What's up? How you doing, sir? Or to better say about it, what's up? I want to look at the sales data on the 9.8 to see how many other sales there have been and what were they going for. No, that's the only 9.8 sale. Wow. Okay, so this book has had one 9.8 sale in its history. and it has been out for 18 years. That to me tells me this book wasn't worth anything to anybody to even bother slabbing it. I'm looking at sales here of Near Mint Raws going back early this year, $7.99, $8.57, $2.65, $4, $4.41, $1.99. Prices are all over the place on this book. $4.99 in May, $5.49, $6.95 in October. I have no idea what has driven the price up on this book, but now I can't. If I saw some of those prices from September that were already higher, and that predates Mark Spears Monsters, so there's probably more along the lines of the Creature Commandos. Rob, help me out. You know this stuff better than I do. But the fact that you've seen these prices all over the place, even this year, I would be looking for one. I would look into to be one of those low price sales. There are times where books are all over the place, and you just exercise patience, and you become one of those low sales. And let me tell you, it is a wonderful, wonderful feeling when you could look up the sales for a book during the course of the year and see the prices all over the place and see that one low price and realize it was you. That makes you feel really good. So I have no idea. Yeah. I don't know where this book came from other than DC. And again, the spike in the comic book prices predates the Bridezilla. So it may be more along the lines of the Creature Commandos or something kind of maybe somebody got cast as the modernized version of the Bride of Frankenstein. Please let it be Olivia Wilde. Oh, please. Anyway. Okay, next book up on the list. I'm really shocked at this. And I know I saw this book on last week as well. It's Jeff, the Jeff verse. Now, I actually have 2 copies of this book. And what the hell? So Robert's confirming it is about the Creature Commandos. Okay, but can you please confirm that it's Olivia Wilde? Come on, man. Come on, dude. Help me out here. Or somebody comparable at least. I mean, she's got the jawline for it. Okay, so what the heck is up with It's Jeff? I've got to find out the answer on that. I did see. Thought I had it out with me. There is the Venom War that goes on in a different It's Jeff. There's It's Jeff Venom War, and oh, you got to be kidding! They're making It's Jeff video game. Okay. Well, then this is going to join the long list of comic books and characters that have spiked up when a video game is announced and then fallen back down to earth. So if you've got yourself some copies, which I have 2 copies somewhere, I've got to try to find them. This is your call to try to sell them. Highest known value of a 9.8, December 24th, 2023 was $60. Currently a 9.8 sold, well, actually sold November 1st. That predates your he always picks the best times to come in. Stinkerbuns is joining us, telling us that he loves Jeff. So somebody got a 9.8 November 1st for $27, and now the Raws are near mints are selling for 30. Tiago, dude, we miss you too. Where you been? How's everything going on down in Brazil? Hopefully you got some nice warm weather down there. Hopefully you had a wonderful Christmas and you're about to have a happy New Year. Yeah, a lot of times these books that come out with video game attachments, once the video game hits, these books just they're not going to drop back down to cover price, but they don't hold this kind of value long term. So who knows? Maybe they'll have It's Jeff the movie, and it'll be a live action. I can't wait to see that. I don't know. I got 2 books at CovrPrice, and the reason I have 2 is because back in 2023, I bought 2 copies. One was for the weekly giveaway. Nobody wanted it, and that was before I put my extra copies in my giveaway box, the one that does not measure up to Rob's. But we got too warm. I can't take it. For all of us that are freezing, we don't have much sympathy. Sorry. When it's too cold, you want it to be warm. When it's too warm, you want it to be cold. Um, yeah, if you've got copies of it, Jeff, this might be a good time to sell them. Uh, ay, ay, ay. Uh, I don't see any long-term investability in it's Jeff. It's a cute one, but who knows? Maybe if they have more games or something else, then this may turn out to be some kind of a tiny little grail. I don't think stores sold a lot of copies of this. I think a lot of collectors did not take it seriously. I know I really didn't, and I thought I was stuck with 2 copies, and now they happen to be worth something. Who knew? All right. Ultimate Universe, 1 year in, the Alessandro Cappuccio spoiler from December 11th. The first appearance of Earth 6160, Nick Fury, and Wolverine. And honestly, this cover looks even better in person than it does on the screen. I was thankfully I pre-ordered one of these copies myself. I do love this is a $6 cover and worth it every second of the day. So what do we got going on for price now? Near mint, near mint regular is going. The last sale was for $8. It says FMV of 18, but somebody sold one for $8. And again, near mint pluses I don't trust. And the 9.8s are sold for $60 as a pre-sale because I don't think anybody got it back that quickly. This was not a ratio variant or anything, and if I'm not mistaken, it says spoiler, but I'm pretty sure you were able to see what the cover looked like on Diamond pre-order. So, or previous world rather pre-order. So people knew what the cover looked like. I'm pretty sure that people ordered this cover pretty well. So I don't think it's gonna be a shortage of it. That being said, it's still a cool cover. So if you get lucky and you could find one of these covers for $8, like the last sale, use that in your arsenal to try to buy one. We all are Tiago. Yeah, somebody just sold one for $8. That's the last sale. Use that as your ammunition and try to see if you can get one for that price. But I don't think I'd spend 20 on it. If you're going to do a top pickups or favorite pickups of 2024, love the. Yes, I know he just did. It was pretty fun. I am doing I do my top 50 of my entire collection every year, and I've got the list made up. So I'm going to be doing 3 videos, books number 31 through 50, 11 through 30, and then 1 through 10. I will mention during the video which ones were picked up during 2024. I will tell you that my new number 1 and 2 were picked up in 2024. So, yes, I have the list ready, and I am going to start recording that, and it will start appearing right after the new year. Because who knows? Maybe I might buy something at the store tomorrow, and that still qualifies as 2024. I used to do a top 100, but man, that was just too much. Top 50 is enough. So again, if you can get one for $8-10, I'd go for it. That's probably what it's going to settle at as a price. 20, I wouldn't be interested. If you can get a 9.8 for 55.60, I think that's worth it. Next up, we've got the Absolute Wonder Woman number 1. This one just is always on the list, and it is all because of quantity of sales, not price. As you can see, it's still selling for. Well, it's now selling for 15 for a near mint. Wow. Now, this was selling for right about or slightly above cover price for a long time. It was all just quantity of sales. I think it was a $4 book, and it was selling for like 6, 5, 6, maybe 7. And it kept staying on this list. Now I see near mints are selling for 15. Very interesting. And 9.8 selling for 65. That's probably going to be a 9.8 in hand, because we are 2 months past its the date that it came out, and people should have books back by that point. Um, I don't know enough about the story. I know people love the Absolute Batman. I haven't heard anybody talking positive things about Absolute Superman. I think Absolute Wonder Woman falls somewhere in between. So it's a better cover though. It's gone up a little bit. I still think you can find copies in near mint for less than 15 in stores. So keep your eyes open for that. See if you can get them for under 10. I wouldn't want to spend 15 on it. It's just if it took that long to go from cover to 15, I don't think it's going to really do much. Next on the list wouldn't be a week without Mark Spears Monsters, right? Now, this is the cover A. This is the Looking Down on You variant from Keen Spot. Mark Spears Monsters #1. The one that started it all. Who'da thunk, right? Well, now near mints is selling for 114 and 9.8 selling for 285. Yeah, and honestly, the funny thing is if you okay, so because I wasn't enthralled with issue #1 and didn't continue, I'll reread and pick up 2 and 3 and see how it goes from that. Thank you very much for the info on that. If you go and look on eBay right now for Mark Spears Monsters #1 cover A, there's like 4 copies. That's it. Nobody has this book for sale. Now, either they're holding on to this expecting it to go higher, or there just aren't that many copies. And what are the two things that drive a price? Supply and demand. Well, everybody right now is demanding this book. It's been on this list for weeks. Supply is not there. That's why this book keeps going up. I'm gonna be honest on something. I have purchased a 9.8. It's a pre-order. It's gone up to this. Hopefully, he gets his pre-screen. I paid 265. So the fact that it's a 285, I'm feeling okay. Now, by the time I get it, if it's down to 150, right now I overpaid for the book. If it continues to go up and it hits 300, 350, 400, then hey, thank God. But in this crazy market where things just slowly go down, the Mark Spears Monsters books seem to be the ones that continue to go up. And with the exception of the mole print, obviously. um, Well, the Mole Air is still going for almost $30. The Bridezilla, look at this, $194 for a raw. And it's some of these books are just really, really crazy, and there's a lot of different covers of this. Uh, so keep your eyes open for it, but it's just really hard to find a copy of the cover A. This is one of the ones you really want to try to get lucky and find at a bookstore or something. And I forgot to check something, so I just want to look at the. This is on the list now. Kickstart. No, not the Kickstarter one. Duh. I'm a ding dong. I don't even see it on the list anymore. I'll look it up another time because I don't have. It's not the Kickstarter one. I've got the one that I got, but that one has definitely gone down in price. I think the Mark Spears Monsters actually has a chance to continue to go up because of scarcity, and that's the crazy thing about it. I see 0 for sale on Mercari, maybe like 4, 5 copies on eBay, where every other book on eBay there's 50 copies, and I mean every other book of everything. You don't see them going on Whatnot. You don't see them going on the other. It's like nobody has them. So again, I don't know if somebody's hoarding them or just people didn't order the cover A's. I don't know. Which it's possible. The same thing happened with Doom, right? This might be your big sleeper for the year. Okay, next 2 books are both going to be Puppy Power. We've got Superman issue number 170, direct edition from 2001. Beware of Superdog. That's a very bad looking, very mean looking crypto, if that is supposed to be crypto. This book in near mint is going for 20, and a 9.8 going for 150. And in case everybody's avoided the trailer, and I just spoiled it, I'm sorry. In the trailer, you do see for the new Superman, you see crypto. And look, I don't you have a hard time finding somebody who loves dogs more than me. But every character that is supposed to come out in the next movie of anything shoots up in value, and then when the movie comes out, those characters drop back down. So I don't see, especially this cover or this is not going to be the version of crypto. I think I don't think we're going to get that one. So no, the book is 20 years old, and it's not a great cover. It's not a great depiction of crypto. There's nothing key about it. Avoid it like the plague. Number 3 on the list is a bit more of a understandable, and I think a version that of crypto that you may actually they may try to give you, but again, not trying to spoil anything, but he looks a lot more scruffy than this um, absolute um, perfect DNA dog here. This breeder special. This one's from 2008, another crypto cover or super dog cover, or as they say on the cover, dog of steel. Superman issue number 680. Again, nothing key about it, just a crypto on the cover. And this one sold in 2022, 9.8 for 220. Now is 125, and I think 125 is too high. That also, I think, what 13th that might predate the trailer, but near mint selling for 35. Near mint plus 45. Really, very fine selling for 32. A 7.0 to an 8.5 selling for 32 of a common generic 2008 Superman because it has a dog on the cover. No. Back issue, dollar bin book. That's what this is. Sorry. Okay, something with a little bit more art and intrigue to it. Cool looking cover from this guy named McFarlane. Or as Rob called him the other day, this upstart. Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger, issue number 1 from 2 weeks ago. This is the 1 in 50 black and white version, and it looks good as a black and white version. This is the origin of Gunslinger Spawn. And, you've got those books that everybody loves because they're McFarlane books. $250 for raw sales. Somebody sold a very fine class that got messed up in shipping for $52. I would love to say that this is going to drop a lot in price, but McFarlane fans are never heard of her. Oh, Upstart McFarlane, got it. McFarlane fans are diehards, and especially if it's like one of those signed and limited ones, but this is not signed. But this is a great book that could turn into a signature. Look at that open space there. And people are going to be looking at that. It's 5 times the price. Wow, I see even the regular cover A has gone up in price, which I got one. Yay, I wasn't even thinking about that, but see, that's $37, which doesn't break my heart. I can't see this holding 5 times ratio. If this was it's image, so stores get image. It's not like you have to go specifically to go and order it and I'm not trying to push monsters, but Keen Spot Entertainment is not the title that every store carries. There's a lot of publishers out there that stores just don't carry. You have to order them specifically. So I think that's one of the things that also made Mark Spears Monsters hot is because it came out from Keen Spot. If it was Boom or Image, a lot more stores would have had it. That being said, I know stores ordered at least 50 copies of Gunslinger Spawn right before Christmas. So I don't see this holding this kind of value long term. I see it's coming down to maybe 100, but 250 I think is way too much for this book. It's Spawn, it's McFarlane, it's Image. I'm sure stores bought enough copies that everybody got these things. And there's that supply demand thing again. As the demand goes down, the supply will still remain there. I wouldn't spend 250 on it. All right, the next one, and I didn't even see this. Because you know why? Because I've been looking only at freaking Keen Spot when my pre-orders, and I forgot to look at things like American Mythology Productions, which has put out some really good monster comics over the last 2 years. Return of the Living Dead, and this is, what is it? Of course, a Mark Spears. And that is a good cover. I like that. So I'm going to have to try to look up and find this book, especially since, wow, $90 for a Nearman Plus. Look at the price difference here. Nearman Plus sold for $90 on the 28th. Then one day later, on the 29th, a Nearman regular sold for 10. Really? I think I'll be looking for my $10 copies, and I'm not going to look for the 90. I'm wondering if there's a different variant in here that actually goes for 90, and it got mixed up. That does happen from time to time. There's one here that's limited to 500. I haven't looked up those prices, but sometimes, again, this is all computer generated by CovrPrice. So if somebody puts a bad description in their sale, even if they've got the right picture up, they may be selling a $90 comic book and have the wrong description on it. When CovrPrice computers pull in the text, they think it's a cover A. Oh, it's cover A and it's sold for $90. That may be why this book is showing up as number one on this list. But the fact that it is number one on this list, and it is Mark Spears, I think we'll still see it next week. I don't think you're going to see $90 sales, but I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see 12 to 15. Long run, it'll only be worth something if the story is good. So again, don't spend $90 on it. Look for those nice $10 copies. See if you can find them on eBay. Remember to watch the shipping costs. All right, so what do we have now? We have to pick our boom and our bust of the week. Now, I thought I had my bust really, really picked out early on with the number 20 book. I was so sure that nothing was going to beat it until, and I hate to do this for a main man like this, but I really have to pick The Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger at $250 for a 1 in 50 book. It's not signed, it's not numbered. I know stores will have bought enough copies of this to meet their demand. I think this book settles back down between 50 and 75 within a couple of months, and this is going to be a major drop in price. I would not be spending $250 on this book. That's my pick for the bust of the week. Now, boom, not necessarily one that's going to shoot up in price, but one that I think that has the best chance to at least maintain its price over the next 6 months. If it can go up, great. If not, no, I'm not going for Frankenstein. Definitely not going for Cryptos. I think taking out the $90 erroneous pick, if I can find $10 copies near mint of the Return of the Living Dead American Mythology Productions, I think this book has a little bit of legs to go up. I think it might actually hit 15 to 20. So if I get them for 10, I'd be happy with that. So I'm going to be looking for them. You might want to do the same. So, see if you get lucky, find somebody on eBay that sells multiple copies. That way you can save on shipping. But that's my picks for boom and bust. Number 1 and number 2, right off and skipping the other 18. All right. So again, provided that the store does get its books on Wednesday, we will be back with the New Comic Book Day live stream. For the books that came out last week, which I picked up on Saturday, I'm going to try to record a show and a giveaway and air that tomorrow night. And other than that, don't forget to tune in for JP's Budget Collecting at 9 o'clock, which is in about 5 minutes. He does the list of the CBSI and Comic Tom's hot list. So he does that. I do the cover price. And he is the inspiration for this. So I have to, of course, give him all the the respect and props for coming up with the idea for this show as well. One other thing, if you haven't noticed, temporarily at least, Richie Collects is back on the air. All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap this up. I want to say thank you to everybody for joining, and thank you again for Rob for joining the YouTube members. Don't forget to check out his shows, multiple, and his entire community is great. Guys, I will see you on Wednesday. And until I do, though, mahalo.